Good afternoon from BMW and Porsche of Ocala. I'm Sky, one of the BMW Porsche product geniuses over here. And today, we're going to be going over the ownership of your brand new 2018, in this case, 540i X-Drive. Now today, this one is going to be a very well-equipped 5 Series. It's going to come with all the latest and greatest technologies that BMW has to offer. And we're going to be going on how to operate a lot of those features on this car. Of course, we're going to see what we can fit in this amount of time here. But this is going to be an absolutely gorgeous car. It's going to be finished in a black sapphire metallic. And it's going to have an ivory white Napa leather interior. And I love the new rim style on the car. Very nice and luxurious. Multi-spoke alloy wheels on here. Those are, of course, going to be 19-inch. But let's go ahead and start on the outside of the vehicle. To unlock the car, all you have to do is just reach for the door handle. And then to lock it, all you have to do is touch these little lines that are right inside of the door handle. Now, on the 5 Series, this can be performed on all 4 door handles, which is very nice, including, of course, on driver and passenger side. Now, of course, coming all the way to the back of the car, there's a few different ways we can unlock the trunk. Of course, every operation of the car can be performed by the key. Of course, unlocking, locking, popping the trunk, sounding the alarm. But another way you can pop the trunk is just by giving a little squeeze right under the emblem right over here. Or what's really nice is the car does have a kick to open feature. You just line your foot up with the center of that emblem right over here and just give a straight, quick kick like so. The taillights flash to let you know that you've done it correctly. And of course, then we have access to the trunk. Coming inside the trunk right over here, we can fold down the seats just by reaching for these little handles right over here. And they fold down nice and easily. You have a little bit of extra storage right under here, which typically your toolkit gets located into. Really easy stuff there. This car does come with the all-season weather floor mats, so that's really nice there. And of course, your wheel locks are going to be located right over here. It's very important to keep in mind of this little sticker right over here. This is going to be your roadside assistance sticker. That's, of course, just going to have their phone number, making things nice and easy in case you do have to call them, God forbid there. If you want to close the trunk, however, of course, once again, we have multiple different ways right here. We can press this little button right over here to close it. This one would close it, then lock the car afterwards, or we can just give another little kick. There we are. And we get the little auditory tone there. The trunk starts closing. Nice and easy, no problems at all. And the car's still going to remain unlocked, and I do have the car on because it is a nice and toasty day today. So let's go ahead and get started on it here. Now, the first thing we're going to do typically is to get your seats all nice and set. And of course, you are going to have a genius arrive at your home probably by the time you see this video. That's going to get everything all set for you. But starting off right in the beginning right over here, I do recommend adjusting height of the seat first because it does move it forward ever so slightly. And to do that, we just lift this little guy straight up or straight down. Of course, from there, then we can adjust the forward and back position of the seat. We can also adjust the tilt of the seat, which just adjust the front part of it itself. Then we do have the thigh support in the front right over here. These seats do have 20 ways of multi-power adjustment. Really sharp stuff there. And of course we have forward and back of the whole pitch of your back, which is this little guy right here. We have the pitch of the upper back, which is literally just the upper section of the seat. And we can see that kind of folding forward there. It's really cool. We can adjust the headrest by moving this straight up and down as well, like so. We have your bolsters, which hugs you in from the sides of the seat using these little guys right here to squeeze you in. And then we do have 4 ways of lumbar adjustment. Of course, pressing it forward, extend it out, and then you can have it high on your back or low on your back, or just retracting it back. And of course, coming right over here to the door handle, things are going to be really nice and easy as well. Now, this car does work based on a profile system, and that's going to be explained to you by the genius as well. So the car key that I'm using right now is going to be for your profile. So the way to think about it is it's almost like having 2 different cars. Literally, you unlock the car with this key that I'm holding right here, and it's going to go to all your settings, not just seats and mirrors and everything like that. Literally, over 169 different settings are memorized just by unlocking the car. So it's really cool, and you want to make sure you stick to your key. It'll also give you a little greeting right in the driver's seat whenever you get into the car to say, "Welcome, BMW Driver 1," or we can even customize that to say your name, which is really cool there. But once we get everything all nice and comfy, of course, mirrors and everything like that, which are done just by this little switch to choose what mirror, and this little dial to actually move them, then all we're going to do is we're going to go set in 1. Now, the thing that confuses people is they're thinking, well, okay, well, now that I'm ready to set my partner's seats, I go set in 2. Now, it is a possibility to do so, but what I recommend is actually, if you're using your key, you're set in 1, and if you're using the other person's key, then they're also set in 1. The seat settings do not transfer with the key. It's pretty cool stuff there. And of course, to fold in the mirrors is going to be this little guy right over here. No problems there. We do have the steering wheel control on the 5 Series. It is electronically adjusting right there. So once again, we just get everything all set in 1, You're good to go. You do get a little auditory chime inside the car to let you know that it has been done properly. Of course, window control is all one touch. Nice and easy. Same thing for going back up. And of course, this little guy would just lock the rear windows. No problems at all. Now, this car does have the massage seats, and we're going to go ahead and hop in for this one, which is activated by this little guy right over here. Now, when the lights are off, of course, the system is off, so it's not going to give us any massage seats. And there's 3 levels of intensity, much like heated or ventilated seats. So we activate this little guy, then we get a prompt on the iDrive to choose, well, what kind of massage do we want? And right now I have mine set for back massage. And of course, the massage level set for 3. And that's it. And then, of course, you can adjust it just nice and easily. No problems at all. Now, coming right back over here to the door, we do have some more features. We're still not done over here. To pop the trunk from inside the car, we're going to go ahead and press this down. You can see the trunk opening there. And then I can lift and hold the same button to lower the trunk back down from inside the car. So it's really cool stuff. Of course, to pop the hood, you just pull that handle twice right over there. Hopefully, you'll never have to do so you're not going to have to worry about it too much. There is no hood latch. You literally pull that twice and you're good to go. We do have a little bit of extra hidden storage right in here. Go and open that up. You got plenty of extra space in there. Good little sunglasses holder there. Now let's go ahead and talk about door locks. Of course, door locks are right over here, no problem. The car, depending on settings that you wish to choose from, which we're going to be talking mildly about inside the car today, is going to determine whether it locks after you're starting to drive, lock or unlock when you go into park, all those settings like that. I do have kind of a baseline settings already set inside the car, which we're going to be slightly discussing as well. But your headlights right now are in the automatic position. You ain't got to worry about a thing. No problems there. You just leave them right there. Your fog lights are going to be located right over here to the left. Then you do have your left and right parking lights. Doesn't see too much use here in the United States. Kind of more of a European, Germany kind of thing. Essentially just making sure you're being seen if you're parked on the side of a road or anything like that, but you don't have an emergency. You just want to make sure you are visible to other drivers. So pretty helpful there. And of course, this little guy right over here, adjust the brightness of all your dials, your infotainment, as well as your AC controls at nighttime. Nice and easy. Turn signals have seen a change for 2018. Before, they always return back to middle no matter how hard you press them down. Now for 2018, they perform more like typical turn signals. Press it down lightly, and you get 2 or 3 ticks for a lane change. Same thing for pressing it up, of course. Pressing it down or up all the way will keep it going, and it stays down in that position until, of course, you make the turn or just push it back up. Now, they just behave like typical turn signals. BC, depending who you talk to, stands for onboard computer or basic computer. What it's going to do for 5 Series is to change the displayed information that's right over here. So right now we have our current trip computer, which we see 12 miles. There's our average MPG, which of course is going to be a little low because we've been sitting here for a while. And I'm going to reset that by pressing and holding that same button, the BC button. I'm going to cycle through again. It's going to give me average speed and average miles per gallon. So I'm going to go ahead and reset that. Hitting it again. And we have nothing. Then back to the trip computer. Now, depending on the car, X5s would actually pop up with a compass or anything like that. Pretty cool stuff. Now, high beam control, you do have the normal high beam control, which you can just pull it towards the flash. Or if it's dark enough out, press it forward to keep it on. Now, it won't let you actually keep the high beams on a day like today because it's just too bright. Now, but if you want your automatic high beams, and once again, can only be activated at nighttime, it's done by the little button down below BC, which is that little guy right over there. You'll see the very same symbol after pressing that, pop up right in your dashboard, and then you're good to go. No problems. Nice and easy. All right. Coming to the cruise control, and this car does have all the goodies, like I mentioned. So, starting off right over here, this little guy right here is going to turn on and off cruise control. As I can see, cruise control cannot be activated because I'm not in drive, so I'm going to go ahead and shift into drive here. Lower the steering wheel a bit. Pressing this little button, I'll get the little indication to let me know that cruise control is on, and it can't be activated because, once again, I'm just going a little too slow. I get the speed I want to set it at, and then I hit set, and we're good to go. Nice and easy. That's it. Now, this car has active cruise control, which you cannot just run on normal cruise control. What active cruise control does is it maintains the distance to the car in front of you as well as your speed. So if you're doing 70 miles an hour along the highway and some guy cuts you off doing 60, it's going to automatically slow you down to 60 miles an hour. And to determine the distance to the car in front of you that you want to maintain is done by this little button right over here. When you hit this, and of course we can't activate it right now, but you would see little kind of lines right over here and also on your heads-up display to indicate the gapping distance of the car in front of you. You hit it, it goes closer, closer, closer than the farthest distance. And each little dash is about 2 car lengths, so that's a good way to remember it as well. Then, of course, we do have resume and cancel right over here. Nice and easy. No problems there. And then, of course, we do have the lane keep assist. Different than the lane departure warning, which this car also has. Little coughing today. My apologies. But you hit this little guy right over here. And what that's going to do is it gives you a little indication. And this can be activated whenever. So I see it on my heads-up display. Let's see if I can get the focus here. That little steering wheel with the lines there. What this does is it detects the lane that you're in and also detects the car in front of you and helps to maintain your lane even through mild corners and everything like that. Really useful on the highway. Very helpful. And it's activated just wonderfully. Oh, I love it. I tell you, I love that feature. And of course, we do have the paddle shifters left or right of the steering wheel, which of course gives you control of the gearing of the car. Coming over here to the right side. Now, the right side of the car, and this is going to be kind of a tradition throughout BMWs, is a lot of the buttons are going to be honestly used with the same function in multiple different areas. So it's a lot of just finding which button you prefer to use and stick to that way. So mode here, as well as mode here, and even to an extent the media button right over here on your iDrive controller all operate exactly the same. They all just do the same function. It swaps between all sources of active media on the car. So if I hit mode here, I'm actually going to see it change the source of audio on my heads-up display. I can see FM, AM, a music collection, satellite, and then it should be back to FM radio. If I do the same thing over here with this mode, now I won't see it on the heads-up display, but I'm going to see it on this screen. It does the same exact thing. No difference at all. Now, right now, we're only seeing just kind of limited sources of audio because it only does active sources. So if I were to hook up my phone, I'd see Bluetooth audio as an option. Plug in a CD would be an option. Really nice and easy. Of course, adjusting the radio volume is right over here. And same thing right over here. No problems. Changing the radio station, like I said, there's a few different ways to do so. One of the ways is going to be spinning this little scroll wheel right over here. And I can see it changing the radio station. And once I see a radio station I want to listen to, I just press the dial in, and then I'm listening to it. No problems at all. Pretty cool stuff. And of course, answering and hanging up phone calls is done by this little guy right over here. And then your voice commands. And now for 2018, the voice commands, and well, 2017 as well for the 5 Series, are truly, truly remarkable. Of course, this being the newest iDrive system, this one's going to be the iteration iDrive 6.0. It's going to feature all new voice command features. So if I wanted to find a restaurant in particular, let's say, I'll say Harry's Seafood Bar and Grill in Ocala. Find me Harry's Seafood. And I can see it just found it just like that. I didn't have to do anything else. I literally just said, just find that. Maybe I want to listen to Satellite Radio Channel 26. Satellite Radio Channel 26. And I don't know if you can hear the pump, but it says you are listening to the Satellite Radio Channel 26. And that's it. It's incredibly easy what the voice commands can do. It can show you the weather. It can have you pop up the news. It can change radio stations. It can do navigation. It can pretty much do anything you can do in the iDrive system right over here. It's really cool. And of course, coming back from there, now, of course, this is something that we normally go into a little more extent on a redelivery. But of course, for the initial delivery today, we're going to keep things nice and easy. Windshield wipers, however, have also seen a change for 2018. Normally, there's a little button right over here at the end that you have to actually hit a button for each time you come into the car in order to activate your automatic windshield wipers. For 2018, all you do is you lift it vertically by one click, and it gets locked into the auto mode for the rest of the car's life if you wish. And of course, but if you do go into an automated car wash, you do want to press the button down. You do have the sensitivity for the automatic windshield wipers is right over here, nice and easy. And of course, if you want to wash the front windshield wipers, you pull this stalk towards you. Nice and clean. No problems. All right. Continuing on from that point, we're going to come over to the start and stop button. Of course, whenever you turn off the car, the radio and everything still stays on, even though the engine is off. Perfectly normal. It will shut off automatically whenever everybody gets out of the car. So if I were to open up my door right now, everything shuts off. The steering wheel lifts up. No problems at all. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the car again. If, of course, the radio and everything still stays on when you get outside the car, which is very possible, it's perfectly normal, it'll shut itself off after about 10 minutes. Or as soon as you lock the car, it immediately shuts it down as well. So you don't have to worry about draining the battery or anything like that. Even if you accidentally put the car into accessory mode, it will shut itself down after about 10 minutes. Pretty cool stuff. Now, another change for 2018, down below, right over here, your automatic start and stop feature. The one that when you come to a red light, it shuts off. And this one, the 5 Series does use an intelligent system. It's an amazing system. I really can't get into in this video because I can spend about 10-15 minutes just talking about that itself. But light on, the car will stay on whenever you approach a red light. And light off, the car turns off whenever you approach a red light. Pretty cool stuff. And of course, it does have to meet criteria and everything like that. For 2018, it defaults to the car shutting off at a red light. There is no ifs, ands, or buts around it. It will always default whenever you turn off and on the car again. You got to hit that little button again. But that's it. Nice and easy. Coming right over here to the center, we're greeted, of course, with our hazards. And, of course, to the right of that, we have all of our safety functions. Now, the very big changes for the 5 Series in this generation, which is going to be called the G30 generation, or chassis, of course, versus the F10, which was the outgoing model, is the amount of customization on this car. Now, right now, all of our safety functions are on, and I can see some of the safety functions are going to include, of course, the pedestrian warning, the frontal collision warning, the lane departure warning, steering intervention, blind spot detection, steering intervention for blind spot detection, and side collision warning. Is all activated by this little button right over here. But maybe you don't like lane departure warning. What it allows you to do is you can actually go to individual and customize what you want, and then the car will remember that. So it's really cool. And once again, that helps with the key system. You can have your own settings and your partner can have their own settings. It's all really nice and customizable. And of course, we just leave it like that for a few moments and it will disappear. No problems at all. And that's, of course, going to be a little green button. Coming up above that, because we're going to be talking about radio in just a moment, we're going to talk about your garage door clicker. Now, of course, you are having a genius come over to your house, so we're not going to go into too much in-depth detail on how to do it. But for the other people watching this video, you reset the garage door by holding these outer 2 buttons right over here until this little orange light turns green and flashes rapidly. From that point, what you're going to do, and I'm just going to go ahead and do so, and it can take up to about 15 seconds. There it is. From this point, you're going to hit the button you want to program it to, and you're going to get a little slow blinking orange light. You're going to grab the garage door clicker you want to assign it to and press and hold it very close to the little mirror right over here. After that point, you'll see it flash green and flash rapidly, or just flash solid, or I guess it just stays solid green, depending on if you have a rolling code or not. Now, if you have a rolling code, there are some extra steps involved. You do have to go up to the garage door motor, hit the learn button or the program button, depending on your company, come back to the car, and you're just going to press and release that same button over and over again until you see the garage door move. And I do recommend pressing and holding it, of course. Coming up above even further, my arm's going to get tired from this one. We do have your reading lights. Of course, activating it, just a little press of the button. Hitting this one right over here activates the whole halo light system that we have right here. Really sharp there, the wing lights. And of course, this one for the passenger side. Really nice and easy. Now, the one thing I like about this little button right over here is it does activate your footwell lights, your puddle lights, your rear lights. It literally activates every interior light of the car. Your moonroof controls are very easy. Wherever you want your moonroof to go, you just press it that way. So if I want the screen to go back, I press it back. From that point, if I want the glass to go back, I press it back again. If I want to go back forward, I press it forward. If I want it to tilt up, I press it up. And do the same thing to close it. And then I press the screen forward again to close it. There we are. Now, of course, your SOS button is going to be in case you have a flat tire, you run out of gas, anything like that. God forbid, if you have any sort of roadside emergency or road-going emergency, you hit this little button right over here. 4 years, unlimited mileage of that. Don't you worry about anything. They're there to help you with anything that they can. Even if you have a question about the car and it's late at night and you're like, I don't know how to do this, press that little button. They'll get you in touch with somebody that can help you. No problems at all. Really nice people. Coming back right over here to the dashboard, we're going to talk about some of our radio buttons. Now, mode, we already know, switches between all sorts of active media in the car. Band, however, only switches between FM, AM, and satellite. That's it. Of course, volume control for the radio is right over here. And, of course, we can press it to mute it or unmute it without an issue. Now, 1 through 7, with every other car manufacturer, typically associated with radio presets. However, in BMW, they can be assigned as such, but they're not limited to that. They can be assigned nearly any function on the car. So if you want number 1 to bring you to your favorite restaurant, we could do so. Number 2 to call somebody. Number 3 be a couple of favorite radio stations. Number 7 to shoot. You want to pop up sports displays or anything like that, or bring up your owner's manual. We can program it to whatever you want. And the one thing that's nice is those buttons are not shared. You unlock the car with your key. You have your own 8 buttons. Your partner unlocks the car with their own key. They have their own 7 buttons there. So it's really nice stuff. Really good amount of customization. And of course, we can place the CD right above that little guy right over here and eject it with right over here. This car does have a 20 gigabyte hard drive for storing CDs. So that's really nice as well. And of course, you just put it in and it'll give you the option to store it. Next station, previous station. Let's see if I can line it up. There we are. No problems there. Coming down from here, we are going to talk about some AC controls. Max AC for those hot days, of course. And whenever you press it, just hit it again to deactivate it. You don't have to re-customize your AC controls. It just goes back to where it was last. We have where you want the air to come from on both sides, of course. We have your front windshield defroster, rear windshield defroster, nice and easy. Temperature control on my side, temperature control on the passenger side is that dial. No problems at all. And of course, fan speed on both sides as well. Now, auto, once again mirrored on both sides, is going to maintain the fan speed, which is here, and where the air is coming from for you to adjust to your temperature. No problems at all. But just like the windshield wipers, if you don't feel like it's going fast enough, you can just set its sensitivity. So if you feel like, man, that's still not blowing hard enough, turn it up. You can still adjust it even though it's in auto, which is really nice. And of course, then you're good to go. Now, right now I do have sync on, so it just matches our both sides together without an issue. We do have your ventilated seats here and your heated seats right over here. Nice and easy. And once again, 3 different levels. And you can activate them at the same time, which is really nice. And I am going to activate my ventilated seats because it is a little toasty out. But what's really nice is you can have the heated seats going and the ventilated going. So if you want to be a little warm, but you don't want to get sweaty, really nice, useful little feature right there. Pretty cool stuff. Now, menu. Well, whenever we hit menu, it brings you up to a whole bunch of different customization options. We have your automatic air circulation is turned on. Of course, that detects any high levels of pollutants, allergens, smoke, anything like that, and turns on air circulation for you. Temperature adjustment for the upper body. Now, what's very interesting about this, and this has been around for quite some time with BMWs, they normally have like a little red and blue dial right over here in the center of your dashboard. What that does is it changes the temperature of the central vents, and just the central vents, the very slightly than what's actually said right over here. So maybe you want to be warm inside the car. It's a cold day, but you hate having warm air blow on your face. Dries you out, gets you a little tired. What you do is you turn this little guy to blue, and then it's going to be a little bit colder air coming out of there, but the rest of the car is going to stay nice and warm. So you can have cold air blow on your face, but the rest of you will be nice and toasty. Just allows, once again, for much of the customization that we'll love on this car. Comfort ventilation is going to allow you to set up almost like a schedule or even one-off departure time. That on a hot day, it'll vent out all the hot, stagnant air of the car, especially this being a black car. This will really be helpful. You come over here, you set the time, the day, and everything like that, and then you're good to go. No problems. Pretty cool stuff. And of course, we do have seat climate control, and I did activate this already. This car does have automatic seat heating activation, automatic seat ventilation activation. Of course, you can see the parameters right over here. Below 50 degrees to turn on seat heating, and above 77 degrees to automatically turn on seat ventilation. And we do have seat heating distribution, which I have leaning more towards the back in case you have a bad back like I do. So pretty cool stuff there. And I do have that also set for the passenger seat. And once again, all the settings I'm showing you are just for this key. Everything will be reset for the other key, of course, when the time comes. Pretty cool stuff there. Coming out of all that stuff, that's going to be all the AC controls. Now, we do have the normal air circulation just right over here. So if you smell a garbage truck, it's not necessarily bad for you, but it just stinks. You just hit this little button and it'll manually turn on air circulation for you. And that's it. Nice and easy. Coming over here to the gear selector. Now, if you're unfamiliar with BMW, it does look quite intimidating. But I tell you, it really is easy once you get the hang of it. All you do is you squeeze it like you're shaking somebody's hand with your thumb here. You hit this little unlock button. Foot on the brake. Pull it all the way towards you. And we can see it activates drive here. And drive right there on the dash. We see the little D right there. And of course, your driving mode's to the left of that. Now we're in drive. Pressing it forward. And we go in reverse. And of course, this one does have the parking assistant package. So we do get the surround view camera. That can be rotated wherever I want it. I can move it by touchscreen or anything like that. Really cool stuff. And even gesture controls. Really neat stuff. And of course, I can even just rotate it like so. But where I recommend leaving it is just in the little auto setting right over here, where it'll take care of all that for you. Where it'll actually adjust the camera depending on where you're getting close at. Now, our rear view camera is on. And to the left of that, we actually have your wide angle rear view. And we're gonna talk about that in just a little moment. But let's go ahead and go back to the gear selector. To put it in park, you simply just hit P. And there's even a little shortcut to even put in the car in park. If you turn the car off with your foot on the brake and you're in drive, it will automatically put in the park. We're going to come back into drive. Now we're going to talk about some of the more unused modes, but pretty cool stuff. Now this is going to be the driving mode for the transmission itself. If you kick it over, we see we're still in comfort mode, but now the transmission is in sport first gear. What this little guy is going to do is it's going to hold the gears a little longer and shift a little more aggressively, so you can just have a little more fun, a little more acceleration, but still have a nice and comfy car. Really gives you the best of both worlds. Once again, all about the customization. From here, if I were to pull a paddle or press this gear selector forward and back, I enter M1, which is manual mode. You have to shift by the paddles in this mode. If you accidentally enter that mode, it's no problem. It's not the end of the world. You just kick this guy back over, and you're good to go. No problems at all. Nice and easy. And we're just going to go back into park without an issue there. Now, we do have the driving modes themselves are right over here. Now, sport mode here and sport mode over here are not the same. Sport mode over here is going to make the steering wheel a little more heavy, the throttle response a little sharper, the exhaust a little louder. It changes the whole driving dynamics of the car, and it does also lock out 7th gear. Really nice stuff. And once again, when you really want to go full sport, you match these together, and now we see we're in sport and S1. So it really changes the whole driving dynamics of the car. Of course, this car is going to have Sport and Sport Plus and also Sport Individual. Sport and Sport Plus are actually exactly the same, except Sport Plus has a loosened traction control system. If you're familiar with BMW's M cars, it's very similar to M Dynamic mode. It allows you to have a few degrees of slip, and of course won't cut the traction as much, but it'll still bring you back in case you start getting a little too wily there. Pretty cool stuff there. And of course, Sport Individual, much like the M cars, gives you a lot of customization on the car, which you can see you can just customize by coming over here and hitting Configure Individual, just like any of the other settings that we had to change right there. We do have Comfort Mode, of course, and then we have Eco Pro and Eco Pro Individual. We do see the dials changing as such. Really cool stuff. Really good. Now, this one is going to do almost the exact opposite of Sport Mode. Throttle response is going to get a little more numbed. A lot of parasitic drag is eliminated from the engine. Really cool stuff. It can decouple the transmission, decouple the alternator, decouple the AC compressor, eliminate a lot of the excess electrics on the car. So eliminate the automatic heated mirrors, dial back the AC, dial back heated seats. Does whatever it can to eliminate parasitic drag off the engine to get you better gas mileage. And this can get you to 20% better gas mileage than even what the sticker says. It also re-overrides the system that you'll shut off at a red light. So pretty cool stuff there. And we're just going to go back into comfort mode. Traction control is operated right over here. If you hit this little guy, traction control is turned off. Stability control remains on. It allows you to spin the tires, but will not let you get into an oversteer or understeer situation. Press and hold the button, and it turns off everything. You are on your own. If you want to drift the car, you want to have some fun, that's the one you're going to hit right there, but be very cautious, of course, in that mode. The car is not going to protect you. Really cool there. Still gives you full driver control in case, of course, this being an ultimate driving machine, that the car still allows you to have all the fun that you wish. Coming down below that, now, I know your neighbor, Mr. Steve Ludmere, is very interested in this little feature right over here. He wanted to know how his car can automatically park itself. And if we look right over here, we do see we can activate the self-parking feature, which can reverse or parallel park itself by that little guy right over there. And that's going to be a different video of course, but it's going to walk you through the steps. You can drive up to 25 miles an hour until it gives you the the little ding to let you know that it has located a spot. Then you just proceed through the steps that are located right on the dashboard. No problems at all. That little same button right over here does also manually activate the cameras. And of course, we did mention the wide angle cameras are down below. Now, those are going to follow wherever you went last. So if I just went into reverse and I hit the little button right there, it's going to give me the wide angle reverse camera. If I go back into drive and I hit the button again, it's going to give me my wide angle front camera. Very helpful for blind intersections. Really cool stuff there. And I'm going to go ahead and cancel all of that. Now, there is a little more into that about GPS activation and everything like that. You can set a certain location on your navigation system that'll automatically activate your cameras. Really cool stuff. Once again, seldomly used, but really neat. And of course, down over here, we are going to talk about electronic parking brake. It works just like a normal handbrake. Lift it up to engage it, press it down to disengage it. This is also your emergency brake. God forbid the driver becomes incapacitated. Lift and hold this button with one hand while you're in the passenger seat and grab the steering wheel, control the car with the other. It will override the gas pedal and apply all 4 ABS lock brakes at the same time. Very important. That is the only way to override the gas pedal. And that's it right over there. Down below that, we do have the auto hold, which for 2018 can be activated while you're in park. And that little flashing is just kind of like a little trick of the camera right over there, just like we saw in the heads-up display. What this little guy does is allow me to sit at a red light, take my foot off the brake, and I can just sit there and relax. As soon as I touch the gas pedal, I'm off again. No problems at all. And then, of course, is to deactivate. Now, it only has to be activated once per drive, actually, once per the existence of the car. It will remember that setting. Coming over here, gonna start running out of breath here. This car really does have a lot. This car does have wireless phone charging, and of course, depending if you have an iPhone 8X or newer, or a Galaxy S6 or newer, You do have the capability of wireless charging. You slide your phone right in there. The little blue light right over here will come on, and then your phone's charging. That's it. You do have a little USB for charging your phone right over there. And, of course, a little cigarette lighter in case you want to plug in another one right over there. No problems at all. You press that forward again to close it. That's it. Nice and easy. Now we're going to be getting into the iDrive system, which is our lovely little guy right over here. That's going to be our infotainment system. Let's see if I can get the camera because this is going to get really tiring if I hold this for too long. Now, the main things we're going to be talking about today are going to be media, communications, and map. We're just going to keep things nice and simple today. Whenever you hit media, as we remember, it's going to be just like hitting mode. It's going to first bring us back to the last page we're listening to, in this case, FM radio. Then if you want to change the source, you just hit media again. From there, you can twist it out clockwise to go down, counterclockwise to go up, and you press it down like a big old mouse key to select it. Nice and easy. If you want to go back, you push the dial to the left to go back, because back is on the left-hand side. If you want to go over to the right for option, you push the dial over to the right. And for reasons I'll get into and later in the video, I do not recommend using these two buttons. It just makes things a whole lot easier if you just get used to going left or right. It helps out a whole lot because that's going to be used a lot more than hitting back or option. Coming on the screen right over here. Here's everything with radio. So right now we see all the stations at this very moment in time in our area that are coming at the best reception. If it's here, it's coming in nice and easy. So if I change to any of these stations and I turn up the radio volume, I don't know if you'll be able to hear it over my mic, but there's not going to be any static or anything like that. Pretty cool stuff. Really nice and easy. But let's say you want to listen to a radio station that's not coming in so well. What we need to do, and of course we can do this by touchscreen or by the dial, we just need to come right over here to this little guy right there. Push on over to the left. We can activate manual search, or of course we can save the station if we wish. We come to manual search and we have a more traditional radio dial. From here we can just twist it out to get whatever station we want to listen to, and we're good to go. That's it. Nice and easy. And that's FM. It really is. Hitting media again, we're going to talk about satellite radio. We're just going to touch up on some points right over here. Once again, on the left-hand side, we do see how to favorite a radio station. This little guy is going to be all, like if you want to change the name of the channel and you'd rather see the name of the artist or the name of the song is right there. I can see the category in case maybe you want to listen to some hip-hop or rock or something like that. Time shift is a very useful feature. Once again, unfortunately, seldomly used. Let's say you just heard this song. You got to hear it again. You got to hear it again. What this allows you to do is, as long as you had signal, I can rewind satellite radio, much like a DVR, and I can just listen to the song over and over again for up to 30 minutes. So this is a great song. I'm going to keep this playing in the background a little bit. And, of course, we don't want to get copyright, so we're also going to kind of go away with that. Back into there. It also I activated automatic time shift. What that allows me to do is that if I go on a phone call while a song is playing on satellite radio, it'll automatically pause satellite radio until you hang up the phone call and continue from where it left off. Great for sports broadcasting. Great for if you're jamming out. Really useful stuff there. Coming down from there, now presets is what BMW refers to as kind of your favorite radio station. I'm kind of doing some air quotes over there because favorites on BMW is much more different. Favorites on here is if you are a big fan of Fleetwood Mac attire, what you're allowed to do is you can favorite that artist or that song that if they start playing another station, it'll give you an alert to tell you that they are playing another station. And of course, coming down from below that, we do have a little program guide. Very useful for finding sports broadcasts or anything like that. No problems at all. It just helps you just go through them, almost like a TV guide. From there, we're going to talk mildly about communications. Contacts is, of course, all your contacts. Recent calls would be all your recent calls. Dial number if you want to dial a number out. And of course, when it comes to hooking up a phone, we're going to come to manage mobile devices. And of course, connect a new device. Then we could choose what we actually want to do. In this case, we could choose telephone. And I do recommend just doing telephone. It'll of course sync up with the rest of the things right over here. Screen mirroring, if you have an Android, it allows you to actually pop up YouTube videos right on the infotainment system. And of course, this car does have internet hotspot. That's something for another video. That takes a little bit of time to set up right there, and of course has to be done privately with the customer as it does involve personal information. So we will not be talking about that in this video. But it does have 100 megabyte per second download speed, really sharp. If I remember correctly, it can have up to 10 devices, 8 to 10 devices connected at a time. Really cool stuff. But we'd select telephone. It walks you through the steps of what you need to do in order to hook up your phone, and you just proceed through there. No problems. Coming to the navigation system, and this is for the most part, feature-wise is where we're mainly going to be concluding the video. I recommend doing everything from the map page. Just literally, if I cannot express this enough, ignore the nav button, and I will show you why. If you're doing everything from the map page, if you want to start navigation, we're going to come to the same exact place. We're going to go to the end navigation. Makes things a whole lot easier. just like with every other guidance system, and frankly, everything on this system as well. If we need to do something, we need to come over here to the left-hand side. I can either push the dial over to the left or just give it a little touch. And I'm going to select that little flag symbol. Depending on what I want to do, in this case, I'm going to enter a new destination. I only really have one option because the other one is grayed out. Depending on what I want to do, I would normally set the home address for you. Once again, this is going to be a public video, so I don't want it to be out there for you. I'm going to come right over here to enter address. Now, of course, you can just do a quick search if you wish. I still kind of like going the traditional way in case I'm not sure 100% what the address is, or I'm just trying to get close to something. It makes things a whole lot easier. So the first thing I can do is I can speak the address. But in this case, I'm just going to go step by step. I'm going to select Florida. It's now moved me over to city. And we're in Ocala over here, so I'm going to go ahead and start spelling out Ocala, much like a rotary dial, just twisting and pressing this little dial right over here. And it's already spelled out Ocala for me. And I'm going to do the dealership, which our dealership is, of course, BMW of Ocala. And we're going to be Southwest College Road, so I'm going to go S, W. And I can see it's starting to filter me out a little bit. Aha, and I already see it on the right-hand side. I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to come over to the right. Select Southwest College Road. Now it's asking for the house number. And of course, we are 5145. Hitting OK. And I hit Start Guidance. Now we're on our way. Now this car does have gesture controls. Once again, some little details about the car. Just for time's sake, we do have to leave out of the video just for now. Gesture controls are really cool, but it does allow me to turn up the volume just by going like this. Turn down the volume just going like that. I can mute the radio, which this is technically a customizable control. Just by going like this, it can give you multiple different options of what it can perform. Really cool stuff. Also has a few other functions, but once again, for time's sake on the video, we're going to keep things nice and easy. Now to turn off navigation. The reason why I recommend doing everything from this page is we're going to come to the same place we went to start it. A push to the left. Select the little flag symbol. And stop guidance. That's it. Nice and easy. Now there is a lot more options right over here, and I am going to reactivate navigation just for the heck of it. Because I want to show those options.
Please proceed
there we go.
to the highlighted route.
On the left-hand side, we do have your route options. So if I hit this little guy, I can see all the different routes that are available. I can see I do have an alternative route. I'm already here, so it's not really going to do anything. But I can see all the different options I am able to do. Pretty cool stuff. I can also change my settings right over there. If you're not a fan of the voice instructions, I can turn that on or off right there. Your traffic information is displayed right over here. This car does automatically reroute you based on traffic information that's refreshed every 3 minutes. It is really darn good. Coming over there, from there, we do have your map content. I do have everything on except for satellite images, and you'll see why. If I go ahead and put on satellite images and I zoom out to a mile out or farther, it gets a little busy. Some people like it, some people don't. I just turn it off and leave it up to you to decide. But I do have everything else on. We do have points of interest is there. We do have traffic flow, traffic icons, parking information, and weather as well. And of course, down below that, we do have map views, which is it chooses whether or not you actually want to have like a northern facing view, a direction of travel view, or my personal favorite is perspective, where it looks off the direction you're heading and then tilts it so you actually get a kind of an idea of what's coming up ahead of you. Then of course we do have interactive map, which allows you to fly around like a little video game and zoom all over the place without actually having to drive anywhere. Pretty cool stuff. Really useful if you're trying to find something that's near you, like if you're trying to find a local airport, which we do have one that's pretty close by, which would be north right over here, and I can see that little airplane. So without actually having to drive there, I can see, oh, yep, this is where I want to go. I select that, and I get to start guidance right there without an issue. Pretty cool stuff. There we are. And that's honestly the navigation system. Once again, of course, there are some little more details to it. There are some little things, but once again, for time's sake, we're going to keep things nice and easy. From here, we're going to hit menu. Now, once again, this menu is very customizable. Everything on this car is customizable. If I hit menu once again, it allows me to push these tiles wherever I want it to go. From here, we do have connected drive, which is your outside resource from within the vehicle. I do have BMW Assist, which is a backup system for this little guy right up here, your little SOS button. BMW Messages, if they're sending you an address of some kind, it'll be received there. Your weather reports, news reports, online searching, Wiki Local, Yelp reviews, My News, Flickr, and even Park Now and BMW iInfo. Crazy amounts of features in here. Once again, we're keeping things nice and easy for this video. We're not going to touch up too much on that today. But if you do have any questions, contact us. We're always here to help you. We're going to mildly talk about some settings on the car. And by that, we're going to come to the menu and select My Vehicle. From here, we have your vehicle settings and iDrive settings, and I did already set all these for you, so you shouldn't have to worry about too much. Vehicle settings are going to, of course, include mainly physical attributes about the car. So we're going to have your lighting, and this car does have quite a bit of lighting customization on it. I can go from color, I could go to bronze, orange, white, blue, green, even purple. Pretty cool stuff. I changed the brightness all the way to max, and of course, dim for nighttime driving. Turns off these upper lines right here, so you don't get glare on your windows or windscreen or anything like that. Pretty useful there. Exterior lighting, as we see right over here, one-touch turn signals. 3 little ticks for the lane change. Daytime running lights, they look cool. You got to have those. Welcoming lights, whenever you unlock the car, all the lights on the inside come on to let you know what's going on in there. And then path lighting, whenever you get outside the car, the headlights stay on for 50 seconds so you can see your way around your garage or your driveway a little better. Backing out of there. Doors and key. Catch my breath here for a moment. Right now it's set to all doors to unlock whenever you reach for the door handle or use the key. Tailgate, whenever you pop the tailgate, it only unlocks the tailgate in case you just want to grab something quick. Lock automatically if you accidentally unlock the car. God forbid you just hit the button on the key, it will automatically lock itself after 2 minutes if nobody opens up a door. Lock after starting the drive, pretty self-explanatory. Unlock at the end of the trip, I don't have that turned on. I don't like a car to unlock itself for me, just my personal preference. I want to decide when to unlock a car. Turn off after door opening, that's going to be a feature that if everyone gets outside the car, once the engine is off, it turns off the radio and everything like that. We can turn that on or off. If you're gassing up the car and you prefer the radio to stay on, we'd uncheck that. Flash for lock and unlock, and acoustic signal for lock and unlock. Whenever you lock the car, beeps twice, and sounds the little beeper twice. Or flashes the headlights twice and sounds the beeper twice. Whenever you lock it, flashes once and sounds the beep once. And of course, it also folds the mirrors when you lock the car as well. Intelligent safety. These are all the buttons we already customized right over here. That's just another place to access it. Steering wheel vibration, I did set that for strong. That's going to be if you start drifting from a lane or somebody's in your blind spot and you turn into turn signal, it does vibrate the steering wheel to let you know as opposed to an auditory tone. Pretty cool stuff. Speed warning. Come on, we're BMW. We don't like to have that stuff. I'm going to set this where it should properly be. There we are. That's when you should start getting a little nervous there. There we are, nice and easy. Driver attention control, I do have that set for standard. This is a really amazing feature. I don't know how it does it. I've even tried to trick the system to make it think that I'm getting tired. But it detects if you start getting a little wavy in the lane, you start getting a little tired, it'll give you a little auditory ding. It'll let you know, hey, maybe you should take a break, get a night in a hotel, or get some coffee or something like that. So it lets you know when you're starting to get tired and tries to help keep you awake. All of our parking systems are right over here. We do have all the different safety functions on the car activated right over here. We have automatic PDC activation, which is park distance control activation. We have automatic PDC with brake intervention. So God forbid if a kid with a little red ball jumps out behind the car, it will automatically brake the car if it's able to prevent the accident or at least minimize the damage of it. Parking assistant, that is going to be the auto parking feature. We do have that turned on. Cross traffic alert lets you know that if you're pulling into a blind intersection, it will give you a cross traffic alert, and of course, God forbid, if it needs to, it will break the system. And of course, panorama view GPS, which is going to be our 360 view GPS or camera system. Driver experience control, holy guacamole, I'm running out of breath here. This is where you can come to customize your driving modes. Seat comfort, I already customized all this stuff. This is some of the stuff we mentioned right over here in the menu items. Also another place to come to adjust your massage seat settings. Climate functions, once again accessed by this little menu guy right over here. Vehicle tracking, this car does have a phone app called the BMW Connected app that allows you to track the vehicle, unlock, lock the car, sound the horn, flash the lights, check the status of the car, servicing of the car, all through the app. And this just allows you to actually track the car in case you forgot where you parked at in a busy parking lot. iDrive settings are going to be a lot of the digital settings of the car. Of course, we have mobile devices in case you want to connect up or delete a device. Your mobile charging tray, which lets you know that you've forgotten your cell phone inside the car. Language settings are right over here. Everything is good. As I said, there's lots of settings, and luckily I set this all for you. Your genius, of course, will be going through it once again to make sure everything is customized properly. Gesture controls is where you can come to turn on or off gesture controls, as well as set the customizable one as well. Touchpad, which allows you to spell using this little guy right over here. I turn that off as you're learning the car. I do recommend eventually turning that back on. It's pretty neat, but just as you're learning the car, keep it off just to keep things simple. This is where you can come to turn on and off your heads-up display, your control display settings, as well as your instrument panel settings. And of course, date and time is set for automatic, which will adjust for daylight savings time, which, depending on for us in Florida, may not be too much longer. You can set it for 24-hour versus 12 hours, so standard versus military, as well as the date format and everything like that. Units, everything is set for U.S. standard. Tone for the radio is right over here. Notifications, I have them all turned on. Pop-ups, are all turned on except for seat and driver settings. I'm not a fan of that. Whenever you touch a door, like a seat setting, it'll automatically pop up right over there what you're changing. It can get a little distracting, so I turn those off for you. Software update, the car's running the latest software. You ain't got to worry about a thing. And, of course, getting started, we just walk through everything on the car, so you got no worries, no problems. That's it. Data privacy, you can choose what you rather allow the car to save, what you rather it not send out. Pretty cool stuff. And, frankly, that'll conclude just about everything on the car. So let's go ahead and just head back on out to the outside. Take a little peek around again at your beautiful new 5 Series. And if you do have any last remaining questions on the car, and I know we kind of blasted through that, but once again, that's why we did the video of it. You will be getting a delivery from your BMW Genius in case you do have any questions right there for them. Really cool stuff, or you can watch this video as many times as you wish. But if you do have any questions, please contact us. We're always here to help you. Even if you're at another state, you have a question, I will try my hardest to get you guys all taken care of. All right, but I hope you guys are having a great day, and congratulations once again on your new 5 Series. And we hope to hear from you soon. Take care. Bye.